Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Cardiac. For this particular video, I'm going to be starting up a brand new series, something a little different here on this channel, and this series is called First Time Slasher. Here's how it's going to work. I'm actually going to watch horror movies that I haven't seen before. I know, that's kind of weird, and I'm going to talk to you about what I knew before actually seeing it, what actually happens, and details I happen to have left out, as well as my final thoughts on the movie itself. Now, the reason why this series came up and started was because I was roaming through an app called Shudder. No, this is not a paid sponsor, although Shudder, if you would like to collaborate and sponsor this video, please feel free to visit the email in the description down below. So as I was roaming through, I realized that there's a lot of horror movies that, again, I haven't seen, and I figured it would only be necessary that I scroll through it, watch a couple horror movies, and then make videos for all of you. With that being said, let's get into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So to kick us off with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, here is what I knew about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was about basically a redneck hillbilly in Texas slashing up a bunch of kids in a VW bus. Literally, that's all I knew about the movie. Oh, sorry, there are some minor details that I forgot that I left out. Leatherface is related to a bunch of other people, and they're all kind of in it together, where there's one who kind of collects everybody, and then there's Leatherface who kind of slashes everyone up, basically, and then there's the dad who basically, like, makes sure that no one loses their shit. That's as much as I knew, to be honest with you. Oh, and by the way, there's a dude in a wheelchair, to which in the intro they refer to him as the invalid. I am not shitting you.
In particular, Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother, Franklin.
That is an actual thing that they mentioned about this dude, but moving on. So some key details that I did leave out is it wasn't just like one or two people, it was like a van of at least 5 or 6 people, including Franklin, our invalid, who meet up with a gentleman, or hitchhiker as he's referred to. He's got this huge wine stain, like, mark on his face, and he gets goes a little bit crazy, and from there, that is where the vehicle is marked, and everything kind of kicks into gear. With that being said, there really isn't much more, like, story, as well as these are moments that happen within the movie. Basically, people get bashed in the head, someone gets attached to a meat hook, the invalid gets ripped into shreds. Oh, and by the way, there's a really, really old dude who is kept alive by blood, which explains why they slash up a lot of people so they can feed him the blood. Literally, I used to watch a lot of trailers and just thought it was just a dead person. Nope, fucker's still alive. Holy shit. In watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the very first time, it's very interesting to see because it's very gritty. It looks like they basically took a bunch of like cameras, hid them through houses and shit, and kind of like just let the cameras roll. It looked almost too real and too believable, to the point where I almost, like, it was like, oh shit, this was made up. But I feel like that's the unique realism in regards to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and is that movie made you believe that it was actually real and that actually happened. So that was kind of interesting. My biggest complaint is the fact that Sally, the final girl, for some reason when she is in the family's house, she just screams bloody murder. It literally bothered the shit out of me while I was watching this movie. Not even kidding you, it was just, I wanted to just take my phone and throw it against the wall. But what I also really liked about the movie is it's just very gritty. And the fact that it didn't have a storyline was just like, let's just like cut people up, like fuck it, let's do it. I like that kind of mentality sometimes. And I think for something like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's just basically what made it so awesome, is that it was just cutting people up to where there wasn't really a story. It was just people were in the wrong place at the very wrong time and have it consumed. So that is the very first episode of First Time Slasher. So I am dying to know, what are your thoughts about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Please leave those in the comments down below. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts, as well as what are some horror movies that you think I haven't seen yet. leave those in the comments down below, and hey, they may actually be our next feature. So thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Cardiac and First Time Slasher. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as well as if you want to follow us across all social media, feel free to visit the links in the description down below. If you visited my Patreon before, you'll notice that there are 4 tiers, 5, 10, 15, 20. Pretty simple, right? But I've also noticed that some people have just difficulty donating $5 per month, and for that I completely understand. So that is why I'm announcing right here and now that we have opened up a $1 tier. Yes, even if you want to donate just a simple dollar to the company and to the channel, please feel free to visit our Patreon in the description down below. The link is there. You're more than welcome to donate $1 a month if you are very so interested in doing so. And that $1 may not seem like a lot, but when it all kind of comes together, do some amazing things. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, my name is Forrest, and I'll see you in the shadows.